213 years ago, on June 24th, 1812, Napoleon invaded Russia. Furious that Tsar Alexander was ignoring his blockade of Britain, Napoleon led over 650,000 troops into Russia, one of the largest invasions in European history. But knowing that they simply could not beat Napoleon, the Russians resorted to a scorched earth strategy, opting to burn their own cities, food, and farms behind them as they retreated. So, since Napoleon's army couldn't live off the land, his supply lines were stretched extremely thin. Nevertheless, Napoleon once again defeated the Russians when they finally faced him at Borodino, allowing the French to march into the historic capital city of Moscow, though they actually found it abandoned and burning. Napoleon, however, believing he had finally convinced the Russians to accept peace, waited and waited, but unfortunately for him, that is exactly what the Russians wanted. Days passed and there was still no word from the Tsar. So, with his army stranded in a burning, empty Moscow, Napoleon finally called for a retreat. As winter closed in, cold, hunger, and constant attacks shattered his army. Of the 650,000 who marched in, only 30,000 marched out.